The truth about posture. How many of you have been told that your posture, your misalignment, all the deficits that you have in your body are causing your pain? This is complete bullshit.
This is number one bullshit.
You need the perfect posture when you're sitting, when you're standing, when you're sleeping, when you're laying on your side. This is absolute bullshit. And this video will cover why that's the case. It's so that people on Twitter, on Instagram, on all of these platforms can sell you some cheap ass ebook on Gumroad to help perfect your posture, when a lot of the programs that they actually design don't even move the needle in the first place. You don't need to sit upright like you've got a 10-foot pole up your ass 24/7. This is all just creating fear, and it's constantly focusing on the wrong things. It's focusing on what needs fixing instead of what you actually can do. I'm going to combine actual studies as well as biomechanical principles to further educate you as to when it comes to posture, when is it important and when doesn't it matter. Now, you're probably like me and you find research papers batshit boring, so let's dispel this in less than 30 seconds. Paper 1 shows there's no association between anterior pelvic tilt and having low back pain. Paper number 2 shows that there's no association between forward head posture and shoulder pain with that muscular imbalance. Number 3 shows that most exercise modalities that therapists prescribe don't actually improve somebody's posture. So a lot of the time they are wasting your time with these protocols. So not only are you, number 1, being told that something is wrong with you, which is going to potentially lead to higher pain sensitivity due to being anxious about your posture and deficits. Number 2, you are given a routine that doesn't actually provide enough stimulus to make changes. And number 3, that there is no concrete association between posture and pain. So now that we have that cleared out of the way, when does posture matter? In my opinion, in 2 specific circumstances. Number 1 is optimizing athletic performance and general physical performance. And number 2 is for aesthetics. As I work with athletes from a semi-professional to elite level, I aim to improve performance outcomes by improving their biomechanical efficiency. There are specific positions that we can hit posturally that improve our ability to perform. I also work with a lot of males who care about their appearance, as they should. Aesthetics and building a physique that you are proud of should not be demonized, and there are much more posturally optimal orientations, in my opinion, that facilitate an enhancement of aesthetics. But what is the practical solution? Let's break down each area of the body and give you an exercise example as to how I would actually approach improving posture. The chances of you doing a 10-minute stretch routine and expecting this to make actual changes to your posture long term is wishful thinking. But here's what you can do instead. Let's cover some postural principles. How many of you have seen basic neck stretches and exercises like this, and they say that it's going to fix your posture? There's simply not enough load in this particular variation of mobility. Let's compare that to something like a plated neck flexion and extension exercise, where we're loading the cervical spine, which is the neck, through its entire range. This allows us to add more and more weight as we get better and more proficient at the exercise, so that we can load up the areas of our spine more effectively. If we now apply this same principle to our mid-back, which is primarily going to be the area of our spine in which we rotate, there's only so much load you can place on a very basic mobility exercise such as this one. Let's compare this to something like a pull-off rotation, where we can use an entire cable stack over time to overload this particular exercise. We have so much more loading potential compared to the previous exercise with just a foam roller. Finally, if we cover low back posture, you see as an example a cobra stretch, which is shown on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of these pages to be some magical back pain exercise. But realistically, we can't really load this any more heavily than body weight over time. So in my opinion, it's not a good exercise modality. Let's compare that with lumbar flexion and extension with a machine. We can load this up with a med ball, we can load it up with a barbell. There's so many different varieties of this particular exercise. We can work this exercise through mid-back extension, which is shown in this particular demonstration here, but we can also complete the exercise in mid-back flexion, which is shown here. If you are doing postural exercises that you cannot overload, it is very unlikely that you're actually getting adaptation from those exercises. So in summary, there's no direct correlation between pain and posture. I want to make this very, very clear. If you have aesthetic and high performance goals, you should be choosing exercises not like these shitty ones here, but actual exercises you can progressively load over a certain time span, whether that's months, if not years, getting stronger at a certain exercise and being able to add more weight and more stress to the body over time. If you're choosing an exercise in which you can't do this, it's going to make negligible changes to your posture. It's as simple as that. If you currently have an ankle injury and you want it fixed immediately, then go to combattherapist.com to work with me one-on-one. If you want to learn more about going from injury to elite performance, then subscribe to this channel and comment on what video that you want to watch next.